Hello and welcome to another episode of our Midweek conversation at First Baptist Church in Sweetwater, Texas, where we strive to be the first responders of God's love. My name is Jerry Hendricks. We're in Studio A. I'm here with my good friend Teak Hamilton.
Our relationship is on the rocks right now.
Teak, did I tell you that I was going to a basketball game last weekend?
Our relationship is on the rocks right now.
Did I tell you that I was going to a basketball game last weekend?
You did, and you lied to me.
And I ended up going to a baseball game, and I got you a T-shirt. I got you a T-shirt.
Dude, I will burn that and dance around it as the flames.
Oh,
For those of y'all who don't see this on video, it's a Houston cheating Astros shirt.
Well, who are in the World Series again this year.
I mean, sometimes cheaters do win.
Yeah. And those that don't stay home. Anyways, so it's interesting because I did put some things out there on Facebook that I was at a baseball game, and I've not made a big deal of it in Sweetwater.
Right.
But prior to
Wait.
Well, no, wait. I've not made a big deal of the fact that I'm not a baseball fan.
Right. No, everybody knows that, though.
I would say there's a circle that knows.
Oh, no, we can go back and worship. And services, look at conversations. It's in there.
I don't think I've opened that up. Now,
everybody who knows not a baseball fan, comment on this podcast or text us later.
Well, so we were going to a Rockets home opener, but
That's basketball.
That's basketball, and it was a second annual. We're interrupted one year by COVID. And so anyways, I saw that there's this potential game-clinching game, and I go, I don't want to go. I want to be a part of something that's fun. So anyways, we opted
The
for
Rockets used to be fun. Remember when they had Hakeem Olajuwon?
He actually was a part of the opening game festivities at the basketball game.
Oh, okay.
The person that threw out the first pitch at the baseball game was a nun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know there were a lot of convents
I'm
down
wondering if she's not throwing it out tonight, the first pitch out tonight. It's also.
Baseball people are superstitious.
So that was one of the things that I'd kind of, let pass. Because we got to talking about, I kept getting reprimanded at the game for certain things I would say or do, that you don't do that. And so, anyways, I was getting some of the superstitions maybe twisted. I really don't know.
Yeah, they're super superstitious.
Yeah.
We had a year where baseball fans are. Chris Casto, our good buddy.
Yes.
He plays on our softball team. And several years ago, it would be probably 8 years ago, midway through the season, we made a new shirt to wear, and we handed them out, and everybody put them on before the game. And Chris got up to bat and didn't do so hot, and we started losing the game. Next thing I know, he's the only one back in the original shirt. He had switched it back, and I was like, "That's a true baseball fan."
Well, we had our softball party, end of season party and award ceremony last Monday, a week ago,
right.
And probably already talked about it, but there was a lot of fun. And so Sunday, what I chose to do is, I thought, okay, it's ready. It's time to move on from our champion, our second in a row champion, our back-to-back champion.
We haven't had the parade yet, but we're working on that.
Well, I was feeling that it was time to move on. Right. But anyway,
three-peat. We won COVID year also.
So, but in my illustration, one of the things when I first started studying for the message on Sunday, one of the commentators just referred to the surprise ending to the book of James. And and one of the things that we had done during the season was handed out Cracker Jacks.
Right.
And so anyway, it's got a few props
tossing
here.
them out.
Yeah.
You were tossing them like a real
I tossed them.
dispensary.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And so, but
yeah, I thought you brought up a good point that Cracker Jacks toys surprises have gone downhill.
Right. Oh man, yeah.
Because
we wrapped up a softball season. We wrapped up the book of James.
We've wrapped up a lot just in time for Advent.
Well, Teak, we're going to have to wait a few weeks before we get to Advent.
No, you started by saying some of you are already listening to Christmas music. And I gave Stephanie Sanders a hard time afterwards. I said, how do you have Halloween decorations up in your yard while you're singing Christmas songs? And she goes, she was multitasking. I said, is your playlist like Monster Mash and then like Silent Night?
I didn't even think to ask her that. That is funny though. So Sunday was a great time to kind of think through all that we had talked about through that. We used the theme authentic,
Right.
talking about the different masks that we wear and certain keywords that kind of filter through the messaging of James. And Sunday I talked mostly about prayer, and he in such a, and it was written in such a different way, but for those who it was intended for, that first audience, there were several things I felt like, or that we pointed out that were important to the early makeup of the church, and one of those was the way that James encouraged them to pray, and the unique, the uniqueness of the fact that he was a man of prayer and known among the community as a man of prayer.
I love that you brought in his nickname, Camel Knees.
Yeah,
I'd heard that. I guess at Howard Payne, I think Dr. Allen had brought it up, and that always stuck with me. And so you're talking, and I was like, yeah, he prayed a lot of camel knees. Yeah. And then then you said his nickname was Camel Knees, and then you said, go look at a picture of camel. Their knees, and they're like, yeah, they are knobby.
Well, but we think a lot about, our role in the life of the church and how we pray, and sometimes I try to. I mean, I guess I shared a little bit that. Sometimes that in the life of the church becomes a bit of a struggle for us to get to some of those deeper parts of right. what a prayer life is actually about. And if we don't do that, or that culture among a people does not exist, then that's just one less way that we have to really support and encourage one another.
Yeah. How many pastors, ministers are frustrated because, like you said, their Wednesday night prayer meeting, I did air quotes there, is really just a way to keep up with the latest news on who's sick and who's in the hospital.
Right.
And they won't say that. So I was glad you called that out, that too often we use prayer or a prayer list or a prayer chain as a way to pass along the latest news. I won't say gossip, the latest news, as opposed to what it was originally intended for.
Yeah. And I don't feel like I wasn't intending to paint it in a bad light, because
no, but that's what it is.
The update. I mean, we do want the update, but I think we really get kind of focused on only health concerns and not really getting to a place. And I don't know how we get there. I don't know how a congregation gets there or individuals, but that place of authenticity and vulnerability in sharing their strife and their struggle in life.
Yeah. I was going to go off on talking about, like at camp when we're filming moments, taking pictures. I'm very careful not to take pictures of those moments that I consider spiritual moments, private moments. And one of those is prayer. When a kid's in prayer, you don't take a picture and you don't share that. And I think that I've never had that concern at a Wednesday night prayer meeting, because a lot of times it is. Here it is, and one person prays, now let's get the next thing. And that's convicting. I mean, I'm not saying it to be mean, but it's convicting, because then what does that say about our individual prayer life? My individual prayer life, my knees are beautiful. They don't look like camels. So there.
I've not noticed your knees, but
I won't show them to you now.
I guess if they were camel knees, I would have noticed.
It'd be a weird shape. But no, I mean, it is taking it on seriously. I think that's something that slipped, and maybe it's just a change of how the culture is in Christianity. But at least in the West, American church, I think that's a part of the slip that we need to recapture.
Yeah. Well, and when you think about the entirety of the book of James, we've talked every week about the challenging way that he approaches faith life, and how we feel, I think we've said, sort of beat up when you think about, it's hard to talk about the part where he's saying how dangerous a person's words are, and not think about, what are the things that I'm saying,
right?
And so you go through this process week after week after week, and then you get to this last one, and it's almost, in the beginning, it was almost like one of those situations where you had a reprieve, until you realize that until we really begin to pray individually and as congregations or groups, then we're not really putting ourselves in a place where we're
Right.
growing.
Right.
It's that and again, I think we use this parallel a lot. I think it works well, but prayer is our conversation with God and others.
Right. Right.
And both of those get us to that place where I think we can feel, experience the fullness of prayer and a prayer life.
Yeah, I think we've talked a lot about that over the years. Circle Maker,
Right.
talked about emphasis on prayer. We do a lot of talking about that, thinking about that, and I think it's helped shape the church a little bit. If I call in a kid to pray, rarely do I have a kid go, oh, they'll end up doing it.
Yeah.
They don't flinch at it as much. Whereas, there's times where you can use it as a punishment or whatever. You have to pray if you keep talking. Now you got to talk to God, which you should never do that. But I think that's helped our church as a whole, and I'm just speaking for my youth area, that a little more comfortable about praying with others and around others.
Mm-hmm. And one of the ways, we didn't talk about this Sunday, but we have a couple of ways that we emphasize prayer through the life of our church. One is on a prayer page, right?
Facebook group, yeah.
Facebook group. You can find that at First Baptist Sweetwater. There's on our main Sweetwater First Baptist Church page, there's a group part, and you can find that group. Right. It is a closed group, so if you want to be a part of that, you have to request to be in the group, and then we will approve that. And there's certain guidelines to that, because we do want to make sure that it's not shared outside of that group, but it's something that's a comfortable place for someone to share something that's going on in their life, or a way that we can pray.
And that's slowly becoming a part of people's rhythm to post things on there. I think it was still one of those things where we would get texts, hey, will you put this person on the prayer list or on the prayer group? You can do it. You're part of that group. Well, it's more important coming from you.
They're not, and again, we're probably bumping the edge of irreverence on some of this today, but they're not lighthearted prayer requests that go on there.
No.
And so I think that's the other thing that has been beneficial. There's not posts every day, or not even posts often, but usually when one appears and you're notified, it's a big deal. Right. There's something that's really kind of going on that we want to get our attention.
Well, and we've used it for more than just sick and rain. Also, we talk about ministries the church has going on, things coming up. Right. Join us in praying for this ministry, and that communicates, but it also communicates that everything we do should be covered in prayer and prayed over.
Yeah. Well, definitely a good Sunday, a good series, and looking forward to weeks ahead as we make our steps toward the Advent season. This Sunday, I will be out of town attending a basketball game and a football game. Not going to any baseball.
We'll see if it's really true or not.
So Ryan Henson will be our guest speaker, and so we'll look forward to hearing from him and getting to know him. And hopefully he lives in Abilene, and he's a church plant resident at the Well, and we've developed a friendship with that church. Several of them have influenced us either at camp or in our church, and so we look forward to continue that through hearing Ryan this Sunday. Then one of the things that you're going to be talking about Sunday, and we're wearing our bracelets already.
Operation Christmas Child. We started the conversation Sunday, and it'll just build all the way to collection week.
And this year's we're doing something different. Let me just say, all of this was new to me, and it's something that it's one of those things that we've always done well here. And but this year we're also a drop-off center,
relay center,
relay center in this area. But this year we have a goal.
We do. We've never done a goal before. We've never done that. I've never been one that the old days of Lottie Moon offering, and you had your cute little goal that showed everything and how close you were to it. I've never been one to do that. This year we're doing that.
Good. So we're excited about this. It's something that my family's been a part of. I know you have for some time. Basically, tell us what we do.
We collect, we have shoe boxes. You put stuff in it, kids' toys, hygiene items, all kinds of stuff, and then they're sent overseas to people who don't experience Christmas. Last year, I meant to look that up. Ours went to Mexico, and I don't remember what the other one was. It was over in Africa, and I can't remember what it was now. But it's a pretty cool ministry, and with everyone goes a gospel in their own language, and that continues to touch lives.
And it's a part of
Samaritan's Purse.
Samaritan's Purse. And Samaritan's Purse does a lot of relief effort in the world. They have a lot of on the ground, in the location ministry. And so it's become quite a big ministry and big organization. We've seen it, their work on our coast during hurricane time and tornado times in other locations, but also around the world through Operation Christmas Child.
And you can only get one shoebox in your lifetime. So a child gets one, they will not go back to give that child another one because they are so clear on wanting to spread the gospel to everybody.
Do you know that website?
No, you can Google Samaritan's Purse or Operation Christmas Child and go to it. It's got a lot of great resources.
And there's some videos.
Yes, lots of videos.
Which we will show one
testimony
this
videos
Sunday,
also.
And it will motivate you. It's just amazing to see what goes on. And when you do that, couple that with prayer, you'll hear testimonies of the results of some of those things. So very much a significant part of our ministry. And we've talked about this before, that it does sort of kick off that Advent season. It's the Advent of Advent for us.
It is. It is the part where you get excited about giving and meeting others' needs.
Yeah. So it's our very first initiative, and we have 2 or 3 that we participate in here during the Christmas season. So looking forward to that, looking forward to the weekend and all that God has in store for us. I'll be gone this week. Look forward to catching up with you the week following.
See ya.